Good afternoon, Noetic listeners. My name is Holly Holt. Ever since I was a little girl, I have enjoyed the works of Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. The first poem of his that I ever read, which contributed to my passion for history, was Paul Revere's Ride. Regardless of the topic, he has the ability of a storyteller to capture the imagination to the point you completely lose track of time and how far you've traveled through his realm of lyric mastery until someone calls you back to reality. Without being too serious about his mystical fluidity, Longfellow is like Lay's potato chips. You can't just read one poem, and that's what made me choose the poem that I wanted to choose so difficult. Much like every poet, Longfellow had to start somewhere. From his biography on hwlongfellow.org, at 13, Longfellow published his first poem in the Portland Gazette, signing it simply Henry. The poem, The Battle of Lovell's Pond, was a heroic tale of a battle between colonists and Indians, and it appeared on the front page of the Gazette. Except for his sister, no one actually knew he wrote it, and in fact, the evening of his publication, the poem received criticism from a friend of father of one of his friends. Regardless, he maintained a passion for language, even despite what others believed. His father, in fact, was said to have wanted him to pursue law. Yet, after a letter that stated, again from the same website, I most eagerly aspire, after future eminence in literature, my whole soul burns most ardently after it. If I can ever rise in the world, it must be by the exercise of my talents in the wide field of literature. His father permitted his son to pursue his passion, and though I believe Longfellow would have found a way, as many writers have managed to do before, it's a good thing his father supported him so he didn't have to. Through this pursuit, Longfellow was able to rise in the world, and during his lifetime became a national literary figure. Because he lived and wrote during the 1800s, some of Longfellow's work contains a touch here and there of romanticism. This is evidenced through the poem I chose today, Nature, which I'll read now. Nature, by William Wadsworth Longfellow. As a fond mother, when the day is over, leads by the hand her little child to bed, half willing, half reluctant to be led, and leave his broken playthings on the floor, still gazing at them through the open door, nor wholly reassured and comforted by promises of others in their stead, which, though more splendid, may not please him more. So nature deals with us, and takes away our playthings one by one, and by the hand leads us to rest so gently that we go, scarce knowing if we wish to go or stay, being too full of sleep to understand how far the unknown transcends the what we know. Much like anyone, Longfellow had sorrows in his life. His first wife, Mary Potter, was 23 when she died from a complicated miscarriage. They had been married for 4 years. His second wife, Frances Appleton, died in her early 40s. From the Poetry Foundation website, on July the 9th, 1861, Fanny Longfellow suffered fatal burns when the candle she was using to seal packets of her daughter's curls ignited her dress. She died the next day. Her husband, who sustained severe burns to his hands, arms, and face in smothering the fire, was left with severe facial sensitivities that precluded shaving thereafter and forced him to grow the white beard that so many are familiar with. Though he didn't address his grief through poetry for 18 years, the poem he would eventually write would be The Cross of Snow, the poem Nature, written in 1878, allows us a glimpse into the gentle perception he had of death. Yet, the perception isn't really a Christian one. There is no mention of what becomes of wrongdoers when they pass on. Instead, the view is rather agnostic, in that death isn't judgmental, and in fact, treats everyone the same, regardless of what right or wrong has been done. In the poem, the one who passes is compared to a little child, which holds a note about our innocence. In the first 4 lines, I found it interesting that the child's playthings are broken. The first question that came to mind was, could this be the wrong deeds that we are being forgiven, or because of our sorrows that once brought us pleasure from living, such as memories of those who we have lost? As the poem progresses, we see the child looking back at the broken playthings through an open door. While the child views all that is being left behind, there's mention of other playthings that are more splendid, that the child doesn't possess. This, I believe, is to say the child prefers the ones that are broken. In this, the next question I considered was, do the playthings then represent the entirety of what is ours? I believe every good soul is crafted from aggravations, sorrows, and terrors. The soul is not made of glass. The soul is stronger where it has been broken. And to remove what has broken us is to remove what has built us. And that is to remove the fullness of our identity. I feel that Longfellow is saying this by the child choosing not to surrender his broken playthings for those that are more splendid, because they have been with him for so long, and they leave him still gazing at them, even while he's being led away. In the final 6 lines, Longfellow brings in nature, capitalized here for a reason, as it represents a being. And the final mention of playthings comes into view. The child is dealt with by nature, who takes away his playthings. The use of the word takes paints a different picture than if another word was used, because taking doesn't suggest hiding up, as a fond mother would do. Taking suggests that something is removed from our possession. Still, this is a classic use of comparison of words from as a fond mother in the first line to this point, so nature deals with us. Hence, the taking is nature's way of prompting the child to leave behind all earthly cares. The poem concludes here with knowing and the unknown. From this poem, Longfellow provides us with a sense that death isn't harsh. Death is a mother, gently guiding us to bed. Death is nature, crafted our souls from stardust, allows us a brief moment on this world of blue, then lets us sleep as the season of our life fades. Longfellow provided a sense of comfort not only for his readers, but for himself, as he considered those who had passed on before him, and that, being in his 70s, his time was coming to a close as well. I think that the least we can believe of death, as so little is known of what comes after, is that it is a gentle place where we can sleep without a head full of sorrows, and forever remove the weight of mortality. Until then, I believe we should take note of living from Longfellow. Kind hearts are the gardens. Kind hearts, the kind thoughts are the roots. Kind words are the flowers. Kind deeds are the fruits. Take care of your garden and keep out the weeds. Fill it with sunshine, kind words, and kind deeds. Thank you.